Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today we're going to talk about what fans want to see in Animal Crossing New Horizons when we finally get more news. And I've got to say, you all had some amazing answers. I got so hyped reading your comments, and it just made me want news even more. So let's get to your answers. C2TM said, I want to learn more about types of bugs, fish, and fossils. And this is a very good point because I think just recently in the comments, I saw somebody point out that there was a fossil that could be dug up, but I don't know, looking at the treehouse coverage and even the trailer, I did not see one prior to this comment, so they've been hard to find. The other thing is, we saw a very limited amount of bugs and even less fish. One thing that I found really interesting was that in the treehouse we did see them dig up a clam, so we have a new way of finding, I guess I would assume that was a fish species, because it is from the ocean, so yeah, not so much a bug, but more of a fish, and it's just a new way to find fish. But not only that, that was able to be used as a crafting material to help you with fishing. So I don't know, I want to know more. I want to see how they've expanded these very classic features that we've always had, like from the beginning of time with Animal Crossing. Like, we've always been able to catch bugs, we've always been able to fish and find fossils, so I want to see what new things they bring to this every time, so I definitely can't wait to hear more about that. Christy/Kristen said, what do I want to see? An Animal Crossing themed Switch Lite. And I'm gonna add to this and say I also want to see an Animal Crossing Switch themed, I guess, regular Switch, because I think this is the first game where we're getting, I guess, same console multiplayer, so it makes sense to make a regular Switch model and have that share the joy option, because that's essentially the new multiplayer mode that they're highlighting outside of 8-player multiplayer. But yeah, seeing a theme of each of them, I know I'm not going to be able to resist buying both. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be very hard for me, especially because, like, if I want to buy both, that's $500 right there. And luckily, there is kind of an incentive to buying the newer Switches right now. They have a longer battery life now, so if you don't have a Switch, right now is a really good time to be looking at them, because both of the models coming out are going to have that extended battery, both the Switch Lite and the new Switch model. It's the same one, but just better battery. But yeah, I do want to see those themes. It would be really cool and cute, and I'm excited, and I really hope that we do get some, because I feel like Nintendo's been slowing it down a little bit as far as themed controllers go. But you never know. They just came out with new Joy-Con, so I've got my fingers animal crossed for some cool themes that we can get. Bunny8093 said, I'd love more customization options for your character, namely more diverse eye colors. I'd love to have pink eyes since it's just kind of my thing, but red, purple, and others are very welcome. Contacts are already mentioned in New Leaf, they just need to expand on that. And they're very right, there are contacts in New Leaf, so you can always go back and change your eye color if you aren't happy with your current eye color in New Leaf. So that is an option as of this latest game, and we've really gotten a lot of freedom as far as customizing our characters since that game. Happy Home Designer had pretty free character customization. Pocket Camp, of course, has really free character customization, so we know right out the gate that we're going to get some character customization, and I think a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing what we can do, especially because I remember, I don't know exactly who commented, I'm sorry, but you did comment, and somebody mentioned that they're afraid that Harriet isn't going to be in the game because we can already customize our appearance on our own, but I really think that they're going to add Harriet and really expand on our character customization when we do run into her, so I expect us to have really deep character customization in this game. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see, because I don't know, that's just what I'm expecting, but all we can really do right now is hope. And yes, I need more news because all of these are so great already. Alright, the next person was Andrew Orto, and they said, the one thing I would love to see is how a fully developed town looks in this game and how we can get there. How developed can our town be? How many animal villagers can we have? How many shops and what kinds? And what kind of big amenities will we have, like lighthouses? All questions I would love answers to in the next info dump. So There is a lot to dig into here, and I agree. Essentially, I feel like we only got one, maybe two or three real looks at a more developed space, and the ones I'm thinking of were from the trailer, and essentially we saw the player's house that was upgraded from the tent already. They have that classic red roof. It actually looks a lot like the GameCube Animal Crossing cover, so if you look back at that and look at the house from the trailer, they look very similar. And then the other is kind of like this whitish home that has a very circular type of building on the left, and then, regular kind of rectangular feel. So those are the only two like upgraded houses that we really see outside of essentially the tents, and there's no way to really tell if that second house I mentioned is a player's home or a villager's home. I really hope that we do get a lot of different styles though that we can make our home into. We already got introduced to that with New Leaf. There were only really about 3 styles though, kind of like the cottage, classic cottage, and then there was the castle and the modern look, and I really hope they expand on that. So yes, I agree. I want to see how much more we can develop, especially with we only saw one little glimpse of the fencing that we can do. We got to see a lot more of the types of furniture that people could put out on their town essentially, but yeah, I want to see all the different things we can develop, how the villagers grow their home, how the players grow their home, what types of shops are added in your town, if any, because that's a good question. How many shops and what kinds? What can we actually build in our home? What's going to be, at least island, I guess. What can be built there, and what can we use it for? And then I really do like this question about the amenities, because I've been playing Pocket Camp since it came out. I've kind of taken breaks here and there, but I do really appreciate the amenities in that game and how interactive they are for the characters. I mean, your player character can't use it, but you do see your villagers use it, and that's something. I hope they expand on that a little bit, but I do want to see some bigger amenities, especially now that we have the freedom to put any item outside. I do want to see us be able to craft some pretty large items and get some really cool things in there, because we do have kind of larger public works projects from New Leaf and larger amenities from Pocket Camp that I would love to see in the game, like the half pipe. I'm a big fan of the half pipe. I love me some skateboarding, even though it went extinct in the 90s. That's okay. Anyways, yeah, very great. I would love to see all of that in an info dump. The next one was from Emily B, and they said, I'm curious to see if our islands will expand as we play. We will need a lot of space to hold player houses, villager houses, shops, and other buildings. It would be so awesome to grow our islands after time like we do to our houses. And this is something I've wanted for a very long time. There are people who have fought back on me. I'm looking at you, Drama. That's okay. I totally agree that the small look is very cute, and I like it too. But I do want the option to expand. When they said we're going to be able to have 8 players on our island, we have no idea how many villagers we can have on our island, let alone shop owners. So if you already got, let's see, 8 players, 8 villagers, and I don't know how many shops, but already 16 buildings located on your island, that's going to take up a lot of space. And I know, we don't really know how big the map is right now. We can't really compare it to other games because the game's just not out. We don't have the means to do that. But I do want to, I just want to expand it. The more things that give me debt, the more things I can pay off, the happier I am with Animal Crossing. It just keeps me playing for longer and longer, and I want to get years out of this game. So I want to know if this town can expand. I guess this island, it's going to take me a little bit to get out of calling it a town, but I agree with Emily. I want to know more about this, and really, how many villagers we can have. That's a big question for sure. The next answer is from Laney Cakes, and they said, I really want to see more special NPCs. Blathers, Isabelle, the Able Sisters, and so on. I want to know if their shops will be on the player island or on separate islands or the mainland hub. Whether or not I have to fit in their shops into my town design will really change how I go about playing. Also, I'd love to see if they get new outfits like Nook and his nephews. I really love that little last addition there, because Nook and the Nooklings, their little Hawaiian shirts with the new kind of leaf design is adorable. I love their look. They're definitely embracing that island life, and I'm already thinking of like, how are they going to change in the fall, in the winter, in the spring? What are they going to wear then? I don't know. I think that's all really cute to think about. But yeah, the shops are a big deal. One thing that I feel, I don't know, there are just so many shops, and I guess the one area that we've really seen with a shop so far is that kind of main plaza area where Nook and the bulletin board are, and I can see shop owners kind of coming in and out there, but eventually I have a feeling that we're going to see shops that kind of take a more permanent residence in your town, if not going to a different island. So how are these shops going to be accessible? Are they going to be on your island? Are they going to be off on another island? I need to know the answers to those questions, just like Lainey Cakes. But yeah, overall, I think the outfits are adorable. I can't wait to see more. And yes, I'm very interested in where the shops will live. The next answer was from Autumn Lost, and they said, I think I mainly want confirmation on how big our islands will be compared to the towns of earlier games, and if it will be expandable in some way. And yeah, this is kind of the same sentiments we saw a little bit earlier, but I do want to address a little bit more directly the size of the island. I mean, it's really, really hard to count what the island size is, especially because everything, it used to be a little bit easier to count in previous games just because everything in the world lived on the grid and there was no half grid measurement of things. So now when I look at the game, I have to be very suspicious that these weeds may be growing in a half increment, so that might not be an accurate full I guess block, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It just may not be the right measurement, is what I'm saying. So it's very hard to get a straight-on impression of how big it is. So I really think we're not going to get an idea of how big our islands are until this game is out, or unless they just tell us in the news, which is, you know, basically what this video is about, what we would like them to tell us. So I also want to know how big this island is, especially because, like I said, the earlier problem with, like, if you have 8 characters, 8 villagers, and then all these shops opening up, we're going to be running low on space, and I don't know, it's going to definitely change how you decorate and how you arrange your town, so it's going to be a very big thing. The next answer is from Tressa Smith, and they said, what I'm most hoping to hear is we found a way to make cloud saves work in New Horizons. And honestly, I don't know if it's an issue of finding a way of how they work. It's just an issue of Nogami. He is so against cloud saves because of this cheating thing. Like, he doesn't allow them in Splatoon, which is a shame, but it's really easy for Nintendo to implement cloud saves. Essentially, from what I've heard from third-party developers and everything, they can just say, yes, I want cloud saves for my game, and then just the options turned on, like it just works. So I really don't think it's on that. It's definitely on Nogami. He's a big pusher of no cloud saves, and I've seen it in 2 of his major games that are coming to the Switch so far, which are Splatoon 2 and Animal Crossing New Horizons. So that said, like, don't be mean to him. He makes great games. I mean, he was the director of both Wild World and City Folk, and he's been working on these games since the very first Animal Crossing. So, you know, he's kind of our grandfather in some way. So don't be too mean to him, but there is a petition out, so it's probably the nicest way to do this. So I'll leave a link in the description to the petition that you can sign to really push Nintendo to add cloud saves, because, yeah, it's not like a big deal if you have them in Animal Crossing. Like, it's not a competitive game. It shouldn't change things too much. It's just, it'd be very sad to lose a year's worth of progress, because that's a whole year that you've invested in a game. Anyways, the next answer is from Jack Capinos, and they said, I want to know about paths and roads. I'm sure we can't just be limited to the dirt paths they showed in the trailer, so I want to see what other kinds we can make. And this one got me really, really excited because the paths is such a big thing. I can't believe I forgot to mention them in my video, but the paths are huge. So far, like they said, we've only seen the dirt paths, which I personally really like. I've always kind of liked the animal tracks and grass deterioration because I kind of enjoyed the natural look and feel of the paths that you created using that feature. I know a lot of people are against them. It's my unpopular opinion that I personally like them, but now we just have a way around them and we don't have to deal about that. But I do want to see us make like cobblestone paths, like anything like wooden and with stone. Like there are different materials in this world. We've already seen tons of different materials, like the clay, the stone, the wood, all the different types of wood, and they should be able to be used to make really awesome paths. Even like putting a little seashell path along your beach, which now that I'm thinking about it, it'd be so cool to do a little like wooden path deck kind of thing. Look, I don't know. There's so many cool things that we can do with the paths, at least that we're hoping we can do with the paths. And I definitely need Nintendo to tell us more about this. And just, I did mention in my last video, like the design elements in general. That's going to be a huge thing in this game, just with how much more space we have to work with designing. The next answer is from Tracy Best, and they said, I hope we can still go diving. I didn't see that in the Treehouse Live. And yes, I pointed this out. We haven't seen diving in the trailer or the Nintendo Treehouse. All we've really seen it in is essentially New Leaf, and that was a big part of the trailer in New Leaf because this was the first time ever that we could go swimming. And I highly doubt that they're going to take that away when we have this island setting. Like, it's so perfect for swimming. So I don't know, they were very focused during the Treehouse, so they didn't want to show off too much, and it was very early game, so I doubt they had the items or the means to go swimming quite yet, but I expect that we'll be able to. I'm just hoping that they really grow the deep sea diving creatures that we can catch, because that was definitely the smallest list of collectibles that we got in the museum. So I want to see how they expand that. Can we swim in the river? That's a question I have. Probably not. I still suspect it'll be locked to the ocean. I don't think they'll let us do like pond or river swimming, but if they did, I'd be welcome to it because that would be one way to expand essentially that type of collection. And our last one is from Michael R, and they said, I just need confirmation that the museum, diving, Cyrus furniture customization options, and Nintendo items are still around. So about 4 or 5 things they listed here. The museum is a big deal for me. I definitely prioritize getting every item for the museum when I first play each game, so it's going to be a big deal to me that we're essentially going to this island and there's not a museum there yet, and it's going to be like, it's going to hurt me to catch things and not donate them, instead use them for crafting or selling, just use them for everything other than donating. But I really want to get to the point where I can donate to the museum, and I'm always so excited to see how the museum is designed in each game and see how it's laid out and what the rooms look like. So I don't know, maybe with us like having to build it, maybe we have a little bit of options compared to previous games as far as like what the look and feel of the museum will be. It's always a really exciting thing for me to look into. The other thing they mentioned, diving, we've kind of gone over. Cyrus's furniture customization definitely is something I'm very interested in because we do have the ability to craft things, but I don't know if that completely replaces our ability to essentially customize things, you know? So I still feel like I love the recycling shop, the kind of refurbishing shop, so I want to see everything expanded essentially, like how I don't know, I think back to Fuchsia's home in the trailer and seeing like her pink furniture, which kind of gave me like Lovely series vibes. So it gave me this vibe that it was the Lovely series just revamped and redone. So I don't know, I want to see all the furniture and see what we can do with it. And then of course, Nintendo items. I have a feeling we're going to be able to see awesome Nintendo items, and they always expand on this in a pretty cool way. So I expect we'll be able to see some really cool things around town, and people are going to be able to make full Nintendo towns now, and that's gonna be insane. They can make all their characters after Nintendo characters. I mean, we already see like Zelda characters showing up. Like we can get Epona and Ganon and Wolf Link, and it's pretty crazy that we can just do that. So I'm really hoping we get a little bit of expansion on that too. Anyways, you guys are amazing. Your answers were so great. It was so hard picking and choosing which ones to kind of highlight here. I tried to get enough variety, and really, I'm so excited after this just to learn more about this game. It's been over 2 months now since we've first seen it, and September is a very likely month to get a direct, so we can hope for a trailer. Personally, I think we're gonna get the most out of like a full Animal Crossing direct. I don't know when that will happen, but getting a trailer on its own during another direct would just be really great. Because I feel like once Nintendo has announced a game and they're ready to tell you about it, they're pretty generous with information. So I'm hoping we get that same treatment for Animal Crossing. I'm hoping we can get another trailer at least, and hopefully in the future we'll all be able to see what is going on with all of our questions. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!